On inclusion and innovation. We'll start with a call to order. I'll start on my left.
Megan O'Brien McNamara.
Commissioner Kevin Tuttle.
Commissioner Tom Kosker.
Prem Nagabandi.
William A. Kittle.
Thank you very much. Appointments and resignations. At this time, I don't believe we have any appointments or resignations. Approval of minutes. You should all have in front of you, as well as they got emailed to you prior to the meeting. Thank you, Autumn. Minutes for the May 22nd, 2024 full council meeting, as well as minutes from the June 11th Community Conversations Subcommittee meeting. Do I have any comments on the minutes, any edits, adjustments? If you've had a chance to look them over, I see somebody looking over them now, but please chime in if there's any edits or changes. Hello, Spiro. Hello, Spiro. Hearing none, I will accept a motion to accept the minutes.
Motion to accept the minutes.
Do I hear a second?
Can second.
Second by Prem. Again, any discussion or any comments?
Nope.
Okay, all in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Say aye. Aye?
Aye.
All right, motion passes 6-0. Thank you. Report from Commission Chair. I don't have too much to report on today, as it's been the summer. We intentionally set up our meetings to be front-loaded in the year. We had meetings in January, February, March, if I recall. I feel like skipped April, had May, and then skipped till today. So it's been a light load for a while. Hasn't been a ton of activity. A few of us have been meeting regarding the walk, which will come up later, our Unity event walk. We do have openings an opening, I should say, on the commission. So we are accepting applications. We have received some. So those are being reviewed by town council. That's not on the agenda as an item, so I figured I'd just mention that now as in my report. So we do have that being looked at to add members to the commission. Outside of that, we have been invited to participate in the, let's see if I get the word right, Prevention Palooza, which is an event being held by Rocky Hill, I want to say it right, Health and Human Services. I'm close. Correct. Health and Human Services. I sent the date to you all, September. Let me look at my calendar. And so we've been invited to participate in that. It's September 19th, 5 to 8 at Elmridge Park. So Melissa Hicks had asked us if we wanted to participate and have a table. So that's one event that's coming up that we might be able to join in on. So again, just get back to me via email. A couple of you have already done that. If you're able to participate in it's an opioid prevention evening, right? To kind of spread the word about the issues with opioid addiction and trying to help with opioid prevention. So that's what that event is about. So anyway, we've been invited to that to participate, and it felt like a good place for us. So it made sense. So I sort of accepted tentatively, just waiting until I heard from enough people that we had enough people to sort of man the table, so to speak. So I will get back to her once I hear from you all on your interest. I don't know if I have anything else. Am I missing anything, Dana, that you can think of? It's been a quiet summer, like I said. I haven't talked to many of you much. A few of you I've talked to here and there, but it's been a quiet summer. So welcome back to the fall. Hopefully we can kind of get things rolling. And I'll let the committees kind of report out on the events that are coming up. Any questions for me at all? All right, we're going to be here quick, so we're going to be out of here quick. So I'm sure some of you are okay with that. But next meeting, hopefully, we'll have more going on and more to talk about. So committee reports. So Community Conversations Committee, I'll turn it over to Megan, who's been kind of chairing that committee for us.
I have no new updates to report.
Okay, I know we did have a meeting in June, which was since our last, the minutes are what's in front of us now. So that's since our last full meeting. So if you could just give us any updates based, I guess.
Well, we have the Unity.
I guess the
event.
Unity Walk is listed separately, and that's been most of our work.
Correct.
So I guess that's the report,
Okay.
right, from the Community Conversations Committee,
Absolutely.
would be that most of our work has been focused on the walk, which you'll be reporting on in a minute.
Yes.
Okay.
So, I
Yeah.
mean, I would say for community conversations,
Yeah.
we did submit inclusion, a statement of inclusion to the, or unity statement rather, to the council, and we're still pending a response to take next steps on that.
Excellent. Yeah, so we submitted that back to town manager and town council, and it's in front of them for their review.
Correct.
We had drafted that and kind of gone back and forth with that previously. Yes, and we have no update. I haven't gotten no update on that either. And also, just because I think it came out of our Community Conversations Committee, was the crosswalk proposal and that suggestion and recommendation that we gave. Are you aware of the updates on that at all, or?
I've been following a little bit.
Okay.
So I know that there has been an updated policy that was approved by the council just recently.
Right, okay.
The details of which are supplied by the council.
Correct.
So I won't speak to the details on that, but it will be moving forward.
Fair enough. Awesome. Yeah, because again, I think a policy was developed and was finally passed. I think it was last night, actually. So that's out there. It's a little bit modified over the months it's been to go through that process, but that is the process and the policy by which community members will be able to submit recommendations or applications to put in public art. And so you would have to look again to that policy that just got passed to see the details of it. But I know that initiated from this commission, which was also initiated from some community members. So I just wanted to kind of make mention of that as well. And Dana, please.
If I may add
Please.
to that, the town manager, the suite, will be creating a form so that we can operationalize that policy. That form is not currently available, but it's my understanding that there will be a document, a record that folks who are interested in participating in that can fill out.
Awesome, thank you. And yeah, and as folks have come to us in the past for this sort of stuff, you can continue to come to us. We can help direct you to those resources as needed to make sure that we kind of follow that process and that policy that's been put forth. So,
Right.
So we appreciate the input of the community to kind of help move that forward. It's been a little bit of a process, but we're getting there to our end goal in that particular one, getting some public art out there. All right, those are a couple things. I didn't want to put those in my chair report because I wasn't sure. They sort of came out of that committee, sort of. I think that covers it. Anything else for others that have been participating in that? Okay, very good. Next, data gathering and analysis. Commissioner Cuddle.
Yeah, I'll just echo the busy summer schedule, excuse if you will. Nothing
all
material to report. I did have a question on the community conversation section, or we could just do it as new business. Maybe it's community conversation. So it's this weekend that there's an Italian-American festival taking place?
Next weekend. I think
Next
it's the
weekend.
7th.
6th and 7th?
7th and 8th, yeah. Let's see.
It's the
7,
7th
8.
It's the 7th and 8th, and it's the same. Our walk is scheduled on the 7th.
Yeah,
in the
that's
morning.
right.
Yeah, same weekend, yeah.
My question was, and I think I might have posed this to you at one point, is there, I assume we had no sort of connectivity with that group who was planning it, but that seems like a good opportunity, I think, as I still think back to one of the earlier meetings this year where you said the more we can sort of, get connected to these community groups, a good opportunity maybe for next year to reach out to, I don't know who the key stakeholders are,
Yeah.
but maybe we use next weekend as an opportunity to sort of reach out,
Sure.
introduce ourselves and get plugged in a little, to see and my thought was not that we have to have some significant presence there, but maybe to volunteer, to help them out or support them in some way, just to start building that relationship from start weaving our web type approach.
Love it.
So I don't know if anybody's got connections to the folks that.
Yeah, I mean, I know Mayor Murad has been a part of getting that going in town, so certainly she's
Yeah, maybe
informed
put a bug in
of
her
us.
ear.
Yeah, we can certainly do that. And I think, speaking to that, and again, we haven't done much on it over the summer, but the Community Conversations Committee has been discussing and talking about and starting to build a list, though it's maybe not
Yeah.
formalized yet, of connections, of groups, of events that are already happening in town, the Holy Day event, and there's a lot of other events that are happening in town that we can
Right.
piggyback on and partner with. So I think that's a perfect example of one of the many things that are happening in town that we can in some way connect with, right? What we see, what we envision, as we've talked about this, all of us as a group, we've talked about this, is someone taking the lead on each one of those, right? So if someone says, yeah, I'll partner up and connect with the Italian American, or I'll partner up with the Pride event, or the Holy event, or the Diwali event, and not Black History, I was gonna say, Juneteenth event, and all these different events that are happening, that make a lot of sense for us as the Commission on Inclusion to be part of in some way. Are we part of the planning of it? Maybe, maybe not. Are we part of the day of, or volunteering? And yes or no to all of the above, depending on the 6 of us in the room now and the 2 others that aren't here, availability to participate in those things.
Yeah.
So yes, I'd say yes, in as much as someone raises their hand and says, I'll run with that, which we've had others run with different parts of this in the past in other groups. So I think that's a great one to add to the list. And I can certainly, because I know, the mayor's been involved in that, reach out to her and connect with her. Obviously too short a nose. Though, maybe one of the things is go this weekend. If you're available, right? I know you had something going on personally, but if next weekend, if you go, and even go, not in official capacity, but like, hey, I'm on the commission. We love, that's a good chance to just informally talk. That's how we got connected on the Diwali event. I went just as a guy in the public and went and said, oh, I happen to be on this commission. How can we connect? And you start building those relationships. So I think that's a great idea. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Thank you. And just to know, I just said the Community Conversations Committee, do you have any questions? That was the time to ask that, not when I turned it over to data gathering.
Okay.
But I appreciate it.
Okay.
I'm just
We're
being
gonna run the
silly.
tape back on the offering, but
The questions are, okay, you're right, maybe.
Rewind.
Maybe rewind, maybe I
In-
didn't, maybe I
in
didn't
all
have any
seriousness,
questions.
maybe the foot in the door is
Yeah.
really, not out of the gates, can we have a booth there, but maybe
Right.
out of the gates, how
Sure.
can we support and volunteer and help?
Yeah.
I'm sure extra bodies and resources is gonna be welcomed, so maybe that's the foot in the door, so that in future, they think of us a
Yeah.
little more holistically. So yes, and if we're assigning, I'm happy to
Right,
take
to
lead
jump
on
in.
that.
Sure, that's great.
I'll try to get there Sunday, I think it goes through Sunday, I don't know what
Does.
time it.
It's 2 days, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know the time of
If I
day,
can get there
but
Sunday and introduce
Yeah.
myself around.
that's great. And that's how the Pride event happened in town, how we kind of got connected with them, because they were just like, hey, and Lori over at Health and Human Services was running that, and this prevention was the same thing. I just happened to be talking to them about something totally different. And they're like, hey, we want to connect on this. Sure, what do we got,
Exactly.
So we'll see what we have for capacity, so. That's awesome, thank you. All right, since I didn't open the floor to questions, any other questions for Megan or the Community Conversations Committee? Now that I've already moved on.
I think it's
Sorry,
worth
Kevin,
noting
you're
that
right.
we.
No, I think,
Tapped in.
no, you're
Sorry,
right.
I think it's worth noting that we also attended the community market. So
We did.
formerly a farmer's market, now community
Yes,
market.
yes.
And so we had a few different of those events where
Yep.
we did connect with the community for conversation.
We did.
Yep.
We did. Yeah, we were at the Pride event this year. We were at the community market a couple of times and had great conversations with folks. Shared some names. Actually talked to one of the people that's applying for membership on the commission. You know what I mean? And how else are they going to hear about us and know about us? They're not all tuning in on TV and they're not showing up, obviously, right? So that's when you connect with those folks. So we did. We saw them out in the community and they were like, "What's this about?"
Exactly.
Email us. So those are great connections. I appreciate that. Thank you, Megan.
Sure.
And we were able to display our new table covering, right? Our table covering and banner and stuff. So we were able to use that stuff. Thank you, Will, for getting that rolling. We were able to use that at the.
Yes, and if now's the appropriate time to mention it, I put the second one
I see.
on display under the portraits on my left for those members who had not seen
Yeah.
the finished product.
Yeah.
And HR has taken care of everything administratively, so they're ours to use as needed for identification and marketing purposes.
That's awesome. Thank you. Because believe it or not, it took a while to make that happen. We were kind of sort of fits and starts before you came along, so I appreciate you pushing that through to the finish line. Thank you. And it worked out well although on a windy day, it's a little tricky. But we're working on that.
We didn't quite have a
Actually,
banner up
if
on a
it's
windy
windy,
day.
Yeah.
at Lowe's or Home Depot, they have little clamps that you can clamp it on the bottom on the
We just
left.
have to be ready and bring them. That's the right. Yeah, I had rocks.
I get 4 of them.
Yeah. There you go. You're on that. That's
They're $1 a piece.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's just a matter of having them in our little bucket of goodies.
I'll
right?
go get them.
Yeah, Megan has a little bucket of goodies that we put together for our events, and
No problem.
it's having all those things in there. So thank you. That's a good thought. Cool. All right, good. All right, now on to Mr. Tuttle with the data gathering and analysis.
Oh, yeah, no.
Anything else on that? Okay.
I had nothing. to
Quiet
report.
summer. Do you have any plans to meet at all? Where are we at with that?
Aparna and I, who are the two members, have struggled to connect
Okay.
schedule-wise, so
Okay,
we'll try to get something before next meeting on the books.
awesome. And if there's anyone else that wants to participate in that, jump in, just let Kevin know. I know it's been quiet, and that kind of had its place some more early on. We were doing more work in that area. So, appreciate it.
I would love to know how we can activate around the data gathering with our community conversations. So when we're at events like the farmer's market or, an Italian fest or whatever it is, that we have a mechanism to engage with the community and ask them to do something that gives us an endpoint with the data gathering. Like how many more we're looking for, or report out, or, something
Or
like
even,
that.
because the length of the survey tends to turn people off. So maybe we come up with, in advance of each event, a more targeted 2 or 3 questions type.
They can answer on the spot. I think
That they
something
can
like
answer on
that
the
would be
spot.
Right.
really helpful, because
Yes.
part of the conversation when I had them go
Right.
in the QR code was, oh, I'll do that later.
Yeah.
And
Right.
there's
Yeah.
no guarantee that they will, but if we have a moment with an intriguing conversation and 3 questions,
100%. And
it also gives us something else to talk about and say, hey, do you
Right,
have a
right.
minute? I want to just have, I have 3 questions for you.
Yep. No, that's a great idea. So, a couple weeks in advance of whatever the event is, we can, the data gathering subcommittee can put something together quickly
Yeah.
to have ready. That's a great idea.
The Walk a Mile event is a great place.
Yeah,
to
that's
have-
possible. I know that's short notice because that's next
Yeah.
next Saturday. Certainly, again, we can do. We will offer the information about the survey that we have now. You know what I mean, with the QR code. But again, it's a little long to sit there
Yeah.
and do right then. But that's a good thought. If we had, we'd have to pare down
Could we
that.
brainstorm this meeting on
Yeah, we could.
2 or 3 questions we might?
Yeah. No, it's a full.
maybe during the-
We could do it right now. The floor is ours right now.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, I know Dana wants to go home, but I mean, no, we can do that. We can do that later. And honestly, I think you,
Yeah, maybe
if
over
we
email.
we can do it over email. If you take a quick look at the survey, I think there's a natural, probably 4 to 5 questions that are going to pop up, like, who are you? What are your concerns? Like some basics, right? What are some things that you're interested in hearing about or us working on, et cetera. I think there's a couple key questions that could easily pop up. We could throw together a quick survey, and we could pilot it at this event next Saturday, right? Do it quick, come up with the QR. Somebody learned how to do that other than me. Was it?
I'm almost
Megan,
wondering, sorry to interrupt.
go.
I'm almost wondering, like, do we create sort of leading questions into getting and pulling information out that we're interested in? It's like, it just popped in my head as I drove by the new apartments on my way here. It's like, all right, so maybe we create questions around housing, affordable housing. Is there affordable housing in the area? Do you feel like, and again, we got to keep the list of questions extremely short and to the point, but there's probably a plethora of topics we can just rattle
Well,
off.
and
this.
probably what I think makes sense is based on the responses that we've all gotten on the survey to date.
Yeah.
We have a natural list of the concerns that those couple hundred people have raised. So maybe those questions, now we're getting the information, the questions, so as you say, to lead in, but we're not making them up and saying, yeah, we think housing is one of the issues.
Yep.
Let it come naturally from that
Agreed.
information that we've already gathered. And I think, again, 2 or 3 will probably pop up and be like, oh, here's some concerns that we've seen. And then those can be the questions sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think with a couple hours' work, we could probably make that happen, right?
And my favorite question is always, to what end? So to why are we doing it?
Right.
I'm a fan of only asking questions or feedback of people if we're willing to act on it. So while the housing question is intriguing, is that something that can be addressed, or is the council or other
Right.
commissions looking for
Information.
that can help inform their decisions?
Right.
So I think if we can get to what end, based on the topics that have already been identified, that might be a helpful way to really narrow it down.
Cool.
And we don't spend a lot of time trying to boil the ocean.
Boil the ocean, I like that one.
I've got all the corporate terms.
I'm
I
sure
gotta
you do, I'm sure you do.
Circle back on that one.
Thank you, Mr. Tuttle. Anything else there? See, we drug out the, I don't have much to,
Unless there's
a little
questions.
conversation. Questions for Mr. Tuttle? Question for Mr. Tuttle, okay.
Okay, thank you.
Unity event, and I'll go right back to Megan to,
So the Unity event is September 7th.
yes.
We do have promotional material, so we've shared that in multiple places. We have it both in an image and a PDF, so it can be printed out on a PDF, and then images can be included on things like website, Facebook groups,
Social media.
right, social media, other social media. It will be published in is it September, October?
I'm hoping, yeah, this Friday. I mean, usually that issue comes out, it should come out like this Friday.
For Rocky Hill Life.
I think it'll come out this week, this Thursday or Friday. It usually comes out like the weekend before the start of the month. So we should have some coverage in there on that. I know we've shared it on social media, which I'm not on, so I don't pay
Yeah.
attention to it. But,
On a few different Facebook groups, but not a lot of
so if any of
interest
you
or
are on
engagement.
social media at all,
We'll continue to
please
share.
reshare, whatever, those flyers, which I think we all have now, right?
We have.
We've all gotten those via email from Megan.
And I can send it again, just
Yeah,
so
if
it's
you don't
fresh
mind,
in
just a little
your
refresher, yeah.
mailbox. Absolutely.
I know sometimes the third email or fourth email box that people have doesn't get checked as regular,
Right.
so maybe check it in the next couple of days.
Yeah. And I think it's just a matter of hitting our personal networks, our personal communities as well. So while we have the Facebook forums for Rocky Hill, I'll go ahead and put those out there. If you're on ones
Put it on there.
that you don't see me posting, go ahead and put it on there. It can't hurt to have it out multiple times for multiple viewings. We don't want to spam people, so to speak. So, but I do think we're getting close to the event, and it's
Oh, yeah,
helpful
we gotta hit it hard now.
to get into those channels as frequently as possible and hit our people personally. So reach out to people you think might be interested in attending or you've seen attend in the past. Your personal groups, so to the point earlier about connecting with different organizations that we're each a part of or would like to help support. It's a matter of just awareness and connection in that way. We have had just a few people register, so one of them being Mr. Commissioner Oscar. I haven't registered myself, so I think if we all register, that will be helpful also. So take a moment to register yourself,
You can make it.
and then we'll have a few more folks on the list, and we'll keep building out that list
Yep.
for September 7th.
Yeah, I've circulated it to the folks, some of the folks within town. I know, Prem, you were gonna circulate
I'm
to
gonna do
a
that, yeah.
couple others, to
Just
get
held
them on.
back since, sometimes if
Yeah.
we do it,
Summer's
Sorry
tricky,
before,
and
yes.
summer's tricky, you know what I mean? This date, we haven't done this date in the past. We did it in the early summer once, and we did it later in the fall, I think late September, one other time. So we'll see how this goes. We
Yep.
found this date, and we'll try it out, and hopefully it works. But yeah, spread the word out there. And yeah, some of the details we're working out, but it's next Saturday, the 7th, 9 o'clock, Elmridge Park. It's for those two people that are listening and don't know what it is already. It's an opportunity for us to get together as community members, talk to one another, meet one another, either get to know them if you've never met them, or get to know them a little better and a little deeper in a way that you might not already know them. And I think when we have conversations, we find out much more about what we have in common, and then what we have amongst us that's different. So I think these conversations are important, and these kind of one-on-one conversations. So it'll be a fun couple hours is all it is, come with just the willingness to chat and meet people, and that's really all it is.
And while we call it Walk a Mile, you don't have to walk. There's no requirement to walk
No.
any length of.
No, you can sit, you
let
can
alone a
roll,
mile.
you can roll, you can sit, you can whatever you want. We call it walk a mile. It's that saying, walk a mile in my shoes. That's where it started, right? Is walk a mile in my shoes. Some people walked 20 feet and sat in the bleachers, and they sat there for half an hour and talked. Others walked around the park. So I think it really varies. It's an opportunity at your leisure, at whatever fits for you and your partner that you get partnered up with, that works for you. So, yeah, spread the news. I know it's gone out on a couple of my group lists that I've sent to, and
did we place it in the library by any chance?
we did not contact the library's folks. No, add them to your list. Yeah, add them to your list. Again, we're going to meet directly after this to talk some details on on some of that stuff, but just for the public, come, join us. Anything else on that?
Not that I can think of.
Awesome. And we did, one of our former commissioners, Maria, the real judge, has helped out and contributed, so we publicly appreciate her input,
much, yeah.
and whatnot, so, thank you, Maria. Old business, I have nothing on old business. Is there anything old business that I need to address, or we need to address? Again, it's been a quiet summer, so if there's things that need to pop up for next meeting, we can do that. New business, discussion on 2025 meeting dates. So I did not put together a list because I think we can do that for next month, or next meeting, I should say, which our next meeting is October 23rd. So make sure that's on your calendars. October 23rd, 5:30, right here. But as far as the dates for next year, I'm looking at the dates we used this year at the bottom of the sheet. Tell me, I want to hear input on you all if you like that layout that we did. Again, it's heavy in the front of the year, skip April, do May, so January, February, March, skip April, do May. June and July off because it's the summer and it's madness. Anyway, we did August to kind of kick us off in the fall. And then October, skip the holidays, November and December, right? Because it gets a little nutty around the holidays. So that was what we did last year. The first year, I think we just did every other. We literally did every odd month. We did every odd month and ended in November, and that was that. Or did we do every even? I can't remember, because I think we might have done every even, and one of them ended up in December, and we were like, what are we doing? Trying to have a meeting around Christmas, and we ended up canceling. So that's why I was like, all right, forget this December idea. That's ridiculous. So we did this kind of unbalanced. So I'll open the floor to thoughts.
I think it's a good idea to keep it the same.
Okay. And even, also, we pick Wednesdays just because it's what we picked originally, and we can stick with that, or if that's not good, I'm asking the people who are here, so apparently it's relatively good for you today. And I picked this time of day to accommodate the professionals that are working and volunteering to come here, as well as the professionals who are at the end of their workday and are trying to stay late to be here. So we try to accommodate both those with this 5:30 time. I know it's a little tricky, a little tight sometimes, but any other thoughts on dates or months or?
So my immediate thought is having the dates for our meetings to cycle with what it is that we're trying to achieve for the year, to ensure that we have the right number of meetings in advance to plan and prepare or connect on different ideas, like Kevin's thought with the Italian festival, and now it being 2 weeks out, it's a little close. But had we known earlier and had an earlier meeting, there may have been
Right.
some action that we could take
Right.
in preparation for that. So I don't know
Sure.
what the answer is, but if we can have some rhythm that centers on key milestones that we're looking to achieve, I think that would be helpful.
And certainly, in every other month would accommodate that better, because then they're regular, like you're having. And the idea originally on the every other month was the subcommittees can meet in between,
Right.
right? So it's like we meet as a full committee, even months and odd months, the committees meet. Sort of an idea was the point. And the tricky part about meeting January, February, March is now if you try to meet as a committee in between there, now it's just more
Right.
meetings for everyone. So that is kind of maybe a nod towards Dana. Yes.
So the other purpose behind front-loading, not that we have to stick with that plan, was that we typically would bring new members on board in January, and by front-loading the meetings, it would enable us to make sure that the first 2 months are heavy on the meeting sessions so that we could provide orientation and training. And it looks like we will have new members
Right.
this time around, too. So there's another purpose, although I will say that planning meetings around milestones, assuming that, once again, you put together, I remember you
Calendar.
had a strategic plan, and we had objectives, and if we can do something like that, that's another great reason to change the schedule.
Yeah, and I think also, again, we didn't know when we were going to do this walk when we planned the meetings last year. This time, we didn't know where our 2024 Walk a Mile event would land, but had we, maybe we would have changed, because the year before we did it in June, so we were like, hey, it helps to have those, 3-4 meetings in the spring-ish. so we can help prepare for those sorts of things, because that's when we were doing our event. Again, in all honesty, a lot of the event planning detail aspect happen in the committee meetings anyway. So, you know, we can have those and have had, you know, met over the summer in June on that stuff. So,
Sure.
okay, cool thoughts. Commissioner Tuttle, any thoughts? I'm going to take you off your, on the meeting dates.
No, I think, I really like Megan's idea in terms of being as productive as possible as a commission, but without that, you know, clear foresight into what the next year's schedule looks like, it's gonna be
Right.
difficult to execute on. But, I mean, if we can get a fairly, you know, solidified calendar that we know we can plan around, then maybe it's just a matter of shifting, you know, a month here or there to
Right.
have each meeting focused on a specific goal.
That's coming
So
up.
I think I'm more in favor of sort of allowing the calendar to dictate rather than
Right.
predetermine it.
Right.
If that's gonna be hard to do, so.
Right. Yeah, I know the idea of, I don't know what the requirement is to post them far in advance. Obviously, we have to post them a certain amount of time in advance. I don't know if we need to give them a year in advance, do we? I don't remember.
January, we have to post in January.
In January, we have to post our year's worth of regular meetings.
Correct.
Right, by January, okay. I just didn't remember that. I know we've been doing that. We've been doing that as a rule every year. I couldn't remember the requirement.
Is the requirement for 6 meetings also minimally, or?
I think that's what our
It's in
bylaws.
Our bylaws say that.
Yeah. And that's 6 minimum, so we can do more, right? So, you know, we did toss that around last year about having, again, front loading, but then still doing, you know, not skipping the other ones, you know? So, yeah, we can do that as well, you know? Again, we don't want to meet just to meet, we want to meet to be productive, as you're all saying, so. Yeah, so we can't quite say, hey, we'll see what happens in January and February, and then plan the rest of our meetings and the dates for them. Now, we can also call special meetings when we need to as well. So even if we set, whatever we set, whether we match this year's, 2024's, because we like it, or whether we go back to the every other month, whichever one we go with.
Right,
Prem,
I
go ahead.
can't, I mean, the front loading is only 1 month. We are only talking about 1 month.
Right.
Right, that gets adjusted, right,
So,
that gets moved.
I don't think we need to. I like
Yeah.
the way it is,
Okay,
since, you know, we talked about summer and
Yeah.
holidays.
yeah.
So, and if needed, right, we can have additional
It
meetings.
sort of just gave us that June, July gap,
Yeah.
and the November, December gaps, and then move that extra meeting from kind of the fall and summer into
Into
spring,
f-
winter.
Yeah,
Okay.
I like where it is. I think we can go with this and add additional meetings as required,
Okay.
like what we do with subcommittees.
Yeah, Commissioner Kittle, thoughts on the?
No comment.
No comment? No comment. So yeah, I think, again, we'll put this on the agenda to vote on it at the next meeting in October, which is when we have to officially adopt it. So, if anyone has any thoughts outside of what we just shared now, but I think this has been a good conversation. Again, I appreciate the idea of that, and maybe that special meeting option is a way to slip the extra meeting in if something, and we've done it in the past, right? We've done that in the past with other things that have popped up. We've called a couple special meetings around different topics we needed to discuss and done that, so, cool. Any other thoughts?
Well, I know it gets hectic during the holidays,
Yeah.
but there's probably also holiday events that we can plug into as well, that we might
Sure.
be missing out as we
100%.
sign off at the end of October.
I don't disagree. Again, the
Probably no
events.
perfect answer, but
Yeah, yeah. Again, to your point, like, hey, you know, what are the events? Like, if we literally lay them out, there's probably gonna be one every month, you know what I mean?
Right.
And we talked about that. Do we do one a quarter that we participate in? Nothing that we're planning, but that we're jumping on board and partnering with, et cetera. But we could probably easily find one a month or one a quarter, or whatever we wanted to take on, depending on what we could all, as commissioners, handle, right? And legitimately volunteer for and participate in, so,
Sure. I mean, I think this is one of our operating mechanisms, right? We have these official meetings, we have committee meetings.
you know,
And then there's other awareness where we find out about different things that are happening, and we may pull together a committee or a special commission meeting as well. And it's a matter of, especially with our new commissioners and all of us being acclimated now, knowing what lever to pull to have the operating mechanisms in place. So we are meeting in advance and planful.
yeah, and that's
for
a
what
great
comes
point as well,
next.
because we can always call that special, you know, committee, you know, an ad hoc committee to work on the fill-in-the-blank event and who's on, and then we assign them, and then we have a meeting.
And awareness, I mean, part of it is that awareness. We're still learning about the different organizations in the community more coming up. And we need a mechanism for really pulling all of that together. So I think it's fair to keep where we are and, you know, as we discuss it.
All right, cool. Thank you all for that. Any other comments on the meetings? Okay, hearing none. Public comment, this portion of the meeting is specifically set aside for comments from the public who are asked to limit their comments to 3 minutes. Any person interested in providing public comment but cannot attend the meeting should email their written comments to Commission Inclusion Innovation at rockyhillct.gov. And seeing no one here, and I have had no public comment emailed in. Did I miss anything? I don't think we had any public comment emailed in. It's been a quiet summer for everyone. And with that, I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Seconded?
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned at 6:09.